Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 4. Taking you to a land that seems to be happy. Do you know that I'm just trying to see on the screen who we are watching? I think it is JB. It is so. We're 26.5. Of course, the game is known to be glitching. We're to Williams. I also a half up ahead, Vapor Josh, who is on his lap, because I'll talk about him. He's actually ran on the way into Maverick. On the way. There's a rumble. I believe a half car just finished off the line to start. On the grass down at turn 3, it seems. On board now with Vapor Josh.
It seems like the internet has now gone. But anyway, we are here for Division 4 of LOE Season 4. Yeah. There are so many, a lot of seasons, but we've made it to the first round of the season. Here at the beautiful Albert Park circuit. Total P is now on pole, or provisional pole I should say, just by a small margin to Aerosol, if I'm saying that correctly. But either way, Division 4 shaping up to be something of a good one here as VA returns. Let's see if I can... Oh my. Oh, there we go. Oh my. I gotta go all the way down. Okay. Alright.
the lap on the command again. Try and play Josh at the moment, who's actually on there. Just on his outlap, so looks like Josh is going to get into a bit of trouble there. Mads is not happy. He's backed out on this one. He's just given it a little bit to move over to the right, letting Josh know. Hold him up. California S enters gets up on that one. Goes 13th fastest. Who else is about to finish at that? Well, Mads was supposed to finish his lap right there, but then he got a bit of a hold from Josh. But Calvin begins his lap.
Oh, Josh is off.
Josh is off.
That's the first corner. We better not go any farther. We will get disqualified. And he's got the right way around.
He's struggling on the tracks and they're trying to get the car back on the way. I don't think he's got any damage to that half car unless you can see with a close-up shot. He's missing his front left end plate. So he's first driver to go into the 1 minute and 19. So everyone else needs to pick up the pace a little bit if they want to contest those of these. Of course, he was disqualified in the evaluation race at the just last weekend. And hopefully he can rectify that. Of course, no point for the evaluation race, but he knows that he's got the pace. I believe he was on par. That's a good. Grip penalty. Those grip penalty. I don't quite know what these two are doing. It says, "Oh my word!" Thought of what was happening there. They were both just sitting. Right. What? That. What are these guys doing?
I don't know, I think I missed it on stream. Which kind of sucks.
Well, basically, what happened was that Heated LH, our lobby host, and Faker Josh, they were just going at snail's pace down the long left-hander just before the chicane, and then still had no. Neither of them are in the right. They're very fine, so it's a confusing one that, but they should have been more aware.
100%. Always tricky in qualifying, especially since you expect people to sometimes let you through, and when they don't, you get these issues of people not moving out of the way, or they don't do it quick enough, or it's always tough when just this one session is validates on the first corner.
We've got some more laps beginning. Miami S or started his lap. He's coincidentally in 5th position, and I believe it is Nolan on an outlap right now. And the save behind him, that's Mads on a lap. Was a part of NSX. He held up on his lap earlier on in the session by Baker Josh, I believe it was. And so he's going to improve on this one. He's in the 7th place currently. Just a little bit under a 10th up on his time. That would still put him ahead of Miami and Josh, depending on whether Miami. Not much. And then Lost connection again to the lobby.
Yeah, okay.
I'm back in the lobby now. I hope this doesn't become a recurring issue. Monday. At that point now, California Flyer is the start, but here's that. And not on car, but through the second. The league itself, and not just some randomer joining from a friend. But California continues on their laps to complete the first sector. It's going to be a 26.5. Yes, lots of sitting get off the grid that will still move them ahead of the lead. So every position is vital, but it's not enough to get top 10. So comparison, the compensated split is actually down on his time, a little bit wayward on the exit of the chicane. That's turn 10 and turn 11. By this lap, bring it open as he completes. Logano just coming up now in that McLaren car to now shift up the grid. California, can they improve? But it's not by much, they're only in 14th. At turn 11. He looks like he's away with that one. It's got no damage to the car, just got to wait for other drivers to come through. And oh dear.
Oh, you gotta reverse one. I think he's gonna let them all past. It's risky. And there he goes. Surprised he didn't get disqualified for parking on track. I'm surprised the game let him sit there for that long.
Him, keeping out the way of everyone else, and also he's Ivor Brin might have not really been focusing on the timing sheet after that incident, but he has managed to pick up P2. Still more drivers yet to complete a lap. Nolan's not going to be able to put in another lap. It's an Alfa Romeo car. Someone's off into the grass. That's Rajalov. And I've lost connection again. I don't know what to do.
Let's see. Alright. P4. Pretty good lap. I will commit, and I think that's it for we go. So the starting grid will be Total P's, then Iverbrand, Mike, RO, Saul, Ran, VH, Calvin, Miami, Josh, Mads, Ragion, XL, Don, your top 10. Then Fuzz, Nolan, Heated, California 5, MCR 2712, Dron, Felipe? If I'm saying that right. Robert, T-Sum, and then TF, Aldi, or TF1 Aldi will be starting in P19. And a few drivers with penalties as well.
So everyone fixing up their strategies. They're going to get ready to pull away for the formation very shortly, and we will get underway. Do you have any predictions for the end of the race?
A strong showing from Pease in qualifying. If he can lead out of turn 1 the pace that he showed, he should come away with possibly an easy win here. In terms of second, third, and the rest, for me, it's a bit early to say. Again. And now he's left the party. Okay, so we will hopefully get this sorted out before the race actually begins. We were just on the formation lap, so nothing to really show. I will try to get this done as fast as I can so we can get the 5 red lights and everything else that goes with it. The potential lap 1 carnage, or the potential clean lap 1, which we all hope for as drivers and commentators alike. So the strategy, softs to hards, but the soft to mediums can be possible, but the 2-stop as well, the soft mediums could work as well as an alternate strategy. But if we look here, top 9 on the softs, and then mediums for Fuzz and Nolan. Josh will start on the softs. The rest of the softs will be California, MCR, Robert, and Heated. And the guys in the hards, Jerome and Felipe. An interesting strategy from the Alfa Romeos, and then TF1 will be on the hards as well. Hoping to get a better view for the start and what we have here. But so we have to deal with V8 not in the game or the party chat to commentate over this, but here we go. The 5 red lights are now completely on. Very long wait, but the lights are out, and we are racing here in Australia for D4 in the League of Europe, as Pease will lead comfortably into turn 1 as Calvin will get all the way up into 2nd place. Mike drops all the way back down to 8th. It was a horrible start from there. Josh, I believe, is off in the back. He is spun. And I don't believe he's picked up a lot of damage to his front wing. As we race through the first sector now, looks like the rest of the field has gotten away very cleanly. And looks like everything has sorted out. There was a small disconnection, but Pease will lead, half a second lead over Saul in second, Mike back up into third, so a bit of a recovery from his second place now.
For total Pease there, he's going to complete first lap. And I've gone again.
Oh my. This is going to be a long, long day for everyone in this race. 50% race is always a sweaty one and always a very long one. Raj with a great move. He'll move up into P5.
Luckily, you're in the faithful hands of Maverick, a great commentator. So we'll see you next week, everyone. Hopefully, my internet will be better.
See you, dude. Alright, so with the loss of a fellow comrade, we will continue to go ahead and race as DRS will be enabled this lap, and the gap between Saul and Pease is now more than a second, so no DRS will be used yet as he will get the fastest lap. So very, very speedy drive here from Pease so far. Don and Mads side by side into turn 3, but Mads will still be ahead. Very, very feisty racing going on in the midfield. As Mads will get a 3-second time penalty as he runs through, and I believe Don has spun. He spun. There's huge damage to that AlphaTauri car. He's lost a lot of his front wing on both sides, so now there is no safety car out, so the safety car will not change any of these strategies just yet, as Don now dropping through the field. And he's got to make almost 3/4 of that lap with a broken front wing, and he will not be happy about that one. Will pick up a time penalty as the Alfa Romeos are now going at it. A bit of a gap beginning to form now between Pease and the rest of them, and then third to fourth of Mike and Ran V. As we talked about, him, he'll pick up a 3-second time penalty going into the first corner. This is just a commentator's curse, I guess, right there. It's a lockup going into turn 3, but he'll stay ahead of Rajion and JD Nolan is out, and a full safety car. So as we were just about to talk, or as I just mentioned, that a full safety car. So now JD Nolan will crash out, and it looks like he's really hit the wall to take off that wheel. That must have been a huge impact. I'm wondering if he might have got pushed off track there. So now the safety car is out, and we will bunch the field back up. Now, it'll be interesting to see if anyone is going to want to take the hards to the end. It is possible if we can get another safety car or two. Those 3 or 4 laps that you are slow, you can easily conserve your tires and make them go to the end of the race. I've done that before. Been on lap 1 with wing damage, went on the hards, and took them straight to the end, and ended up actually winning the race. Very, very difficult to do this. Saul is now in the pits, I believe. Ran V, Rajion is in the pits. So a couple drivers, Miami, and Mads, Calvin, a few more drivers now. I believe it's just those 6. Mads ran Miami. Felipe's in the pits too. They will now get shuffled out of the field as Felipe picks up a 5-second time out for speeding in the field. This is just the worst commentator's curse I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, so Pease and Mike stayed out. They're on the softs. Fuzz and MC are on the mediums. I don't think they pitted, so we might be having an issue of the tire wear data not being up to date, which is always a bit tricky when you need to talk about it. Is Grant is spun at turn 4, so he's now back down the field, and hopefully his tires are not cooked. The safety car coming in this lap, the field has now bunched up, and we will get back up to racing on lap 7 of 29. As the field rounds the final 3 corners, we will... Oh, as Calvin has run into the pack of... I believe there's just a lot of accordion effect going on in the back of the field. As we saw Calvin, I believe Don pick up some penalties for hitting another driver. But here we go, back to Racing. Pease will lead. And a comfortable jump there. And he's now pulling out a 7-second, or not a 7-second, 7/10 gap back to Ivor Bryn Mike, as I believe Josh is in the pits, but here goes Calvin. And Mads has run wide. He's run off at turn 4, but he manages to not throw it into the gravel, so not that much time lost, but he will lose a few positions as Felipe looks to have some wing damage, and so does Rand VH. So this is going to throw their strategies out the windows. Felipe is still on the soft, so you might be able to take the hards to the end and see where he can come out of. I think there's a few more drivers than that might have got some damage. Oh, and that's a huge off there for Rajon. He's in the wall, and I believe that was possibly contact with one of the Renaults, and I believe it was Aerosol into the back of Rajon, as Calvin up the inside of Miami can't get it done. And a huge clattering with the wall there for the AlphaTauri as he is trying to get that car back into the pit lane. And a huge mistake there for a couple of those drivers. Heated is spun out of the final corner. This is just popping off here at the end of this first safety car. As Heated now gets back underway. This is great. That's all I can say about this. But Pease 1.6 seconds. CRS not enabled this lap, but next lap it will be, as comfortable DRS training gaps now starting to form between the top 4 drivers. And I believe that's Robert getting loose there out of, I believe that is turn 13 or 14, and he will lose a few positions there as Jerome up into P5. And Miami now into the pits. So I'm wondering if he picked up a bit of damage. And no damage for Miami. Oh, it's a drive-through penalty. So Miami picking up a drive-through penalty, and I wonder if it was something to do with possibly overtaking during the safety car or something else. We have to check after the race. Felipe will retire from the session. I believe that was the Haas TF1, and he has really gotten loose, I believe, out of the chicane. He's into the wall, lost his end plate there on his wing, and he will be coming in to fix that. So a few mistakes here for a few drivers as Pease is now into the pits. So your race leader into the pits, and he's going to fit on the medium compound tires, as Aldi will now he's actually going to retire. So now the medium strategy, the one stop, is into play. Pease will come up P11. He's got a bit of room to get some heat into the tires and really put on the pressure, as Mike has not pitted yet. And he is really, really got to get that hammer down if he wants to jump Pease during this pit stop phase. Calvin will pick up another 3-second time penalty. And Mike is now into the pits. He's going to have to make this a very, very perfect stop as he slows all the way down, I believe 37 miles an hour, something kilometers an hour. I don't know, I'm American. Either way, Pease, I believe, is now coming through the penultimate corner, and he is now just behind Heated. And he's going to have DRS. This is really going to help Mike. Just pulling out. Pit limiters off now. Pease will maintain the lead of this race, and it's a bigger gap than what it was, as Pease has played this strategy perfect. As now he'll try to get around. Oh, and he runs into the back there of Heated. And I don't believe he's picked up any damage. If he has, it's very, very light damage. But nothing has come off visually of the car. It's a very, very close call for Heated and Pease. And a virtual safety car now. I was wondering why they were going pretty slow. I didn't actually see that. Anyway. So now the field is somewhat frozen, but we should get back to racing speed shortly. If a couple of drivers were close to the pit lane, it would have been a free pit stop, as Saul will pick up a drive-through penalty speeding in the pit lane. And green flag is back out. We are racing once again. As Jerome will come into the pits now. Pease is still trying to get past Heated here, but he's going to have the DRS, he's going to have the better exit out of the corner there, side by side down into turn number 3. Pease with an easy overtake. He'd even slot it back into the racing line before the braking zone. A huge overtake and a critical one is now Mike needs to get going if he wants to win this race. Now Williams of NCR into the pits to fit on, I believe that was a pair of hard compound tires. Drone with another 3-second time penalty. Piece up into P7. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of these hard runners in front of them will pit again, or maybe a set of mediums. Change up the strategy a bit, but it would seem to me that they would probably just want to stay out to the end of the race. They can really save those tires. He's on a mission though. He's on to the back of XL Don. He's going to go for the move into the chicane. This is a bold move. It's a brave move. He's right up against the wall. And he's going to get it done into the chicane. That was an excellent overtake. Wow. I mean, you can pass into the chicane if you want, but I've never seen one that clean. That was a brilliant move there. As I believe Mads has spun out of the final corner, he is facing backwards. As we will get on to see what has happened here. Yeah, he spun out of the final corner. He gets the car pointed the right way. So mistake there from NSX Mads. As Saul has now crashed. I believe that was at the chicane. Yes, we were right on Ran VHC, and yes, he has lost it. Another safety car. So the safety car is back out. This, oh wow. So now the hard runners that pitted on the first safety car, they are looking pretty good now. As they can now conserve those tires even more. So when we get back into racing, it'll probably be about 11, 12 or 13 laps to go. The lap skills are not that great when it comes to counting down the laps of a Formula One Grand Prix, as they say. But Fuzz now coming through the last corner. I believe he is going to come into the pits. So your temporary race leader is MCR will pick up a speeding under safety car. You'll have to perform a drive-through as Fuzz goes on the softs. It might be a free pit stop unless they stay out and do some warming of the engine there for Robert. That was a bit strange, but Fuzz will come out ahead. He's gonna have to take those softs a pretty long distance. As the safety car will now pick him up. Mike up into P2. So he has stayed out. So Mike has actually played this pretty good. I honestly would have stayed out there. Pease will go on to what looks to be a fresh set of mediums by the looks of it. But obviously the spectator menu is not that great. But either way, this is shaping up to be an actually pretty interesting finish, especially if those are some fresh softs. It's not telling me that they are, but if he saved I believe if he saved a set from qualifying, I believe those could be a fresh pair. But I mean, 14 lap softs, I would expect them to go, they'd be already gone, but I don't know what is going on there. There's the position changes. Heated has gone up 12 positions, so really good job from him so far. So is Robert. Fuzz as well. It's gone up 9, and a few drivers losing this. So positions have varied. The only one who hasn't changed is Mike. He's a P2. So he's back where he started. But I believe going to be 13 laps to go, as there are still a few drivers not caught up with the safety car queue. MCR, I believe this will be his, he's coming out to fit a different pair of tires. So a few drivers with drive-through penalties still, but I believe Calvin still has one to serve. I could totally be wrong. And we will go down to the end. So Jerome and Saul have a drive-through. I don't know if they served that yet. Miami and MCR have a drive-through, and I believe possibly MCR thinking he could have done his drive-through under safety car, but you cannot. Will not count but I could be totally wrong. Anyway, so it looks like Rand VH now onto the back of the field. And yes, he's caught the end of the safety car queue, as now we are hoping to get back under racing. As yes, the safety car will come in this lap. And will the softs last? I believe this is going to be an extra 13 laps, as he will pick up a time penalty for corner cutting under safety car. It is the dumbest thing in the world. It has happened to me multiple times. And what do you have to gain from that? Absolutely nothing. But either way, this is shaping up to be an exhilarating finish in these last dozen or so laps. As we round the penultimate corner, Fuzz will try to hold them back as much as he can, and he is now away. Fuzz with a good jump. Mike still right behind him pretty closely as a small gap is formed towards the back. And Pease now jumps Robert. A huge advantage there, as Pease just gets a very good traction out of the final corner. As Robert is going to lose once again another position, as the two McLarens, I believe, are going to start scrapping the two Miami and California. And a small gap beginning to form between the front running, I believe, 4. Once again, we are seeing that gap form. And Miami there will get ahead of Roberts as they go into the chicane. And California, I believe, has, yes, he has spun it into the barrier. He is out of this race. And a virtual safety car is now out. We are just getting all the safety cars in this race, as the chicane is proving to be the... I don't even know what to call it. It's a mean one. I mean, that chicane is a mean one. I will say that. We've seen huge drivers, probably I think about 3 or 4. And Jasper, you've nailed it on the head. Am I watching D4 or DNF? I don't know, but either way, green flag back underway as Fuzz gets a huge jump there on the back, 1.7 seconds. And I can't imagine that was the gap once the safety car came out. As Cal will pick up a time penalty once again. Fighting for P2 with Mike, but I believe most of his time penalties will probably put him towards the rear. As Pease, I believe that is now his first time penalty. I could be mistaken, but I haven't seen his name come up that often this race. Rand VH will pick up a penalty as well. As Pease now really close to the back of Calvin. He can get a good exit like he did on that restart as Calvin loses the back end. Pease doesn't need a good exit as Calvin will hand him the position, losing the rear out of the final corner, but Calvin looks like he's going to fight back. He's just a bit far. He's just a bit too far back there. Miami in the pits, I believe, for his drive-through, it looks like. As Calvin hands Pease the last podium spot. Mad's got it around Jerome. So very good job for him there. So now P's back onto the rear of Mike. The positions has changed, but Fuzz really storming away. 10 laps to go. It will either be 9 or 10 to go when Fuzz hits the line. Because once again, math is not my strongest thing. Fuzz peeking, too far back. A lot of strong moves. I believe Mike is now behind Pease. I'm very upset that I missed that battle. And I'm wondering if he just didn't get a good exit out of the corner. Because it seems like a pretty good overtake. Now Pease back up into the lead. He will now have to catch Fuzz, who's leading this race, but I don't know for how much longer, as Calvin will pick up another 3-second time penalty. As oh boy, oh boy. I really want to see what Fuzz's tires are like. I wish we had that sort of data. As P's the fastest lap of the race, he is really pushing it. Gap is 1.3 seconds, so P is really trying to close that gap. As Mike with, I believe he lost the back end there a bit coming out of turn 3. Calvin now looking to maybe overtake as Mike gets loose once again. That car just not handling probably the way he wants it to. Really struggling on traction, getting out of those corners. As MTR will pick up the fastest lap, so the Williams teammates to Pease picking up the fastest lap. 4/10 now. From Pease to Fuzz, he set a really good second sector, but I might just be too far back going into turn 13. He is. But I can't expect that this lap, Pease will get ahead as Calvin gets ahead of Mike. They're side by side through the final couple corners, through the penultimate corner now. And it's a bit of contact there as Calvin is shoved off wide by Mike. And I believe that was a bit of an end plate coming off of one of those cars, but it doesn't look like any. It looks like all the front wings are still intact. As Pease now on the path, you gotta look at two different battles here. Pease to the outside of Fuzz in a beautiful, and they make a bit of contact there. But Pease will get ahead as I believe no damage is done to either of those cars. Mike back ahead. Actually, I should say still ahead of Calvin as they run through the first sector, but a beautiful overtake there for Pease on Fuzz. And a crucial one to now put another car between Pease and Mike. So are the softs of Fuzz now starting to die off as Mike will pick up a 3-second time penalty? That might be his second one or his first. Either or. So everything seems to be calming down as Ranvi will get ahead of Jerome for 9th place. So, as I usually say, something the opposite happens. This seems to be the case with me and my commentary skills. And Robert will pick up the fastest lap there. He's on the softs. And I do believe that there is something wrong because Fuzz is now on 30-lap-old softs. And I'm pretty sure he didn't do, what would that be, 7 laps in qualifying on those? So you can't even get 7 laps in 18 minutes on quali. I believe about another 7/10 has gone as Mads probably... He dropped a few positions there as Don and Heated, I believe, are the only two that got ahead of him there. As Calvin still on the back of Mike. They have to work together if they want to get ahead of Fuzz. Fuzz putting up a very good race here. Just winding the laps down, counting them down in his head, just hoping that those softs can make it to the end. You can just barely see Mike and Calvin in the background there on that shot. But a very good battle is Heated up the inside. I believe that was Mads. And a very, very scrappy battle here for 6th place. Heated picks up a time penalty. So everyone's really pushing to the max to try to get as close as they can to make this overtake, but there looks like Heated almost had the move done there on Ranvi H. As Heated in the pits. And he will be putting on another pair of softs, it looks like. Yep. So maybe going for the fastest lap of the race, possibly. Oh man. Calvin's still on the back of Mike. He is not giving up. With all the penalties Calvin has, I don't think Mike really has to worry that much. Thrown another penalty for him as well. They seem to be catching Fuzz, but is the rate fast enough to where they can get him by the end of this race? Is the main question, I should say. Now P's on to 26 to 29. And the battle for, I believe now this will be 5th place, rages on. So we will do some interval timing. Now will pick up a 3-second time penalty. And the penalties and the safety cars have been just flying this race. believe we're at the stage where no safety cars or VSCs will be out. So we should be smooth sailing to the end of the race. There's a beautiful camera shot there from the what used to be 1,000-mile-an-hour helicopter. And either way, down the main straight, 27 laps now. So now Mike and Calvin are within a second and a half of Fuzz. So Fuzz is now in the danger zone of losing a podium if Calvin can just stick with Mike. And then if Mike gets in front of Fuzz, that might leave him vulnerable then again to Calvin. And yet again, Calvin, I believe, does have a lot of penalties. So everything is just a sort of, we'll have to wait and see what actually happens, as penalties will usually, can either make you or break you. The P's now leading a 6-second lead. Very comfortable lead for him now. And yellow flag at 62, I believe that is Miami. He has lost it and picked up a bit of wing damage. But towards the end of the race, I don't know if he would want to pit or not. Now Mike is now in the DRS range of Fuzz, so Fuzz just has, oh, excuse me, 2 more laps to try to hold off Mike if he wants to keep this P2. Mike has always been a quick one. He's always been a fast boy. So this should hopefully be an easy overtake, but we always love a good scrap here in D4. As Miami will pit for front wing and maybe a pair of soft tires to possibly try and get the fastest lap. 3/10. Calvin will pick up another time penalty as there goes Mike up the inside. He locks the brakes up as we will go on board. We'll go back to Calvin so we can get both of these drivers into this battle. As Pease will now start the final lap. Calvin gets a bit loose coming out of the penultimate corner, but now Mike has really got, he's going backwards. Mike outside, inside, goes for the move down the inside. Bit of contact, but he will get through. Fuzz just the softs, and he loses the rear end. Fuzz loses the rear end, and I don't know if there's possibly some contact there with Calvin. So maybe aid in that spin, but Fuzz now will lose. He's down into 9th place. A tragic end to what could have been a great strategy and a great pull-off. But now Calvin possibly has a chance to beat Mike on track, because they are, I don't think they've ever been more than 2 seconds away from each other this whole race. Oh man, this is an amazing race. It's such a shame that it's over, because I would have gladly have done a 100% race of this action. This is just the best. Calvin not going to go for the move. This is the last chance of an overtake. But now to come around the final corner to end this race, it will be Total Peas picking up the win of the season and the first win of D4 in Season 4 in LOE. Mike around the final corner will pick up P2 if the penalties will allow him. Calvin crosses the line of P3s. He smashes the car into the outside walls. He will lose. Region gets up into P5. No, it's going to be Mads, Randvi, then Region. Calvin will keep P7. Jerome will keep P8. Fuzz will keep P9 as he comes around the start-finish line now. Actually, no, he finished. Let's see. P7 heated through the final corner. Robert, great P10 is heated, will lose P10 to Robert. Remember, 12th gets points. The top 12 will get points now. Fuzz leaves the session after that win. Surprised he didn't want to say it for the podium celebration there. Immediately going back to the motorhome as everyone in the D4 chat saying dominant performance. It was a dominant performance. Probably not the lights to checkered victory he would have wanted, but nevertheless, it is the full 25 points, I believe. If he did not get fastest lap as he did, will get driver of the day on probably just the most positions gained. Fuzz with the trophy, and it was a great win. It was a great race, I will say. So the final standings for this race will be Peas, Don, Mike on the podium. So a great result for those three drivers. And NSX Mads, Ren, VH, Region, Fuzz, Calvin, Jerome, and Robert is your top 10. Heated and MCR will round out the points. Then Miami, I believe this... No, not yet. So Miami will be the last of the finishers that actually completed the race. We will end up in P13. Then California, Saul, Josh, TF1, Felipe, and JD Nolan, the man who hyped himself up a lot in the D4 chat. And he was the one that was saying you gotta practice saying my name in the win, but man, I don't know, man. But either way, it was a great day of racing. It was a great battles that we saw today. It's just a shame that V8 kept having some connection issues, but hopefully we will see him for the Bahrain Grand Prix next week on Saturday. I know my time. It's 12:40 Central United States time, and I believe it is 18:40 BST. And we will be live once again next week for some more great racing from the guys of D4. I've been Alt Maverick, and I hope you guys have a great day.